beginning of 2023, it was reported by the German media that the Deutsche Fußballliga, who operate the Bundesliga divisions, are planning to sell stakes in the competition's future domestic and international broadcasting rights. According to estimates, this could potentially raise billions of euros, which could then be invested by the leagues and the clubs within them. The promise of a future cash injection might have enthused supporters across Germany, but they're actually furious. And this is why. And first, how could it work? Well, as has been done in other countries and by some clubs, notably Barcelona, the DFL would create a company to manage its broadcasting rights and then sell stakes in that company to outside investors. The company would be responsible for the selling of those rights, both in Germany and abroad, with the investors sharing in the proceeds over set time periods. The benefit would be a sizable cash injection, which could be shared among clubs and used to fund infrastructural improvements, but it would also aid further technological development of the Bundesliga product, with the aid of investors who specialize in different fields. This second point is key to the DFL. The Bundesliga is at a significant financial disadvantage to the Premier League, and its future depends partly on its ability to penetrate new markets, perhaps by constructing a straight-to-consumer streaming platform, like Spanish football's La Liga TV, for instance, or by staging training camps and tours in more new countries. Virtual holdings, which display different advertisers to different markets, are another idea and characterize the kind of evolution that the DFL would likely have in mind. Investment by private equity firms would help fund that kind of evolution. And these are the advantages that the Bundesliga needs to find. Its current domestic broadcasting contract is actually the second richest among Europe's top leagues, behind only the English Premier League. However, comparing the respective leagues' value in the foreign broadcasting rights market paints a very different picture, with the Bundesliga commanding less than a tenth of what the Premier League earns on an annual basis, and also lagging well behind Spain's La Liga and Italy's Serie A in annual value. It's a particularly difficult challenge for German clubs, who, unlike those from Europe's other top divisions, are subject to the 50+1 rule. It's not possible for an individual or outside investor to buy a controlling stake in a German club, and that denies them the kind of wealth that benefits Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, or Chelsea, and which can bring, through exorbitant signings, quick success, and global media attention, to raise the profile and broadcasting value of a league. A different strategy is required for the modern football world, and according to the Financial Times, the current idea has been under discussion for several years. The paper also reported back in February of 2023 that the DFL has already distributed a 110-page English-language prospectus to potential investors, including CVC, EQT, KKR, Advent Blackstone, and Bridgepoint. CVC will be a familiar name to many, having purchased a share of media rights in French and Spanish football. Sixth Street, the US-based investor that bought a share of Barcelona's future broadcasting rights, are, according to the same Financial Times report, also interested in acquiring a similar package in the Bundesliga. But despite the potential upsides, fans are fearful, and in some cases, angry. DW's Matt Ford reported that Borussia Dortmund supporters displayed a series of banners in opposition to the investment plan from Signal Iduna Park's Yellow Wall during a game with Union Berlin in early April, and that the travelling Union supporters displayed similar messages. Ford also reported opposition in Bochum and Nuremberg, amongst others, and similar banners have been spotted around the country. And the principal fear is that investment on such a scale would come at a price, and the gamers' German fans know it would need to make concessions. According to a statement distributed by Borussia Dortmund's official fan department, but published by DW, opening up to investors, particularly to private equity firms who are after maximum profit, risks them using their influence to maximize their returns, potentially against the interests of fans and stadium goers. Some more alarmist fears speculate that ticket prices and in-stadium atmosphere would change, and the kick-off times might be adapted to suit foreign markets. The DFL say no, that outside investment would have no influence on those decisions. How such investment would be divided is another polarizing issue. Unlike in England, broadcasting revenue isn't evenly split among teams in Germany, and naturally the fear is that the wealthiest clubs would benefit the most and further disadvantage the poorer sides. in a country where, of course, the same team has won the Bundesliga for 10 years in a row. Now, whether these fears are justified or not, the conversation is also happening at a time when disharmony is detectable at different clubs and when the atmosphere around German football seems thick with suspicion. In Bremen in early April, fans protested ticket prices and stadium renovation plans during a game with Hoffenheim. In Hamburg, a week later, before a match against Hanover, fans protested what they believed were exorbitant ticket prices with banners that read, "Football must be affordable," and "Welcome to the most expensive second division circus in the world." German football has long been held up as a supporter's paradise. And yet the context into which details of the investment plan have emerged is, in places, coloured by the distrust of what fans see happening in other leagues. During their Champions League time with Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium, travelling Bayern Munich fans unfurled a banner reading, "Glazers, Sheikh Mansour, all autocrats out. Football belongs to the people." Whether the DFL's initiative proceeds will depend on a vote taken by representatives of the 36-member clubs, and it will need a two-thirds majority to pass. Regardless of outcome, German football remains in an awkward position between protecting what makes it special and ensuring that its clubs can still compete.